Red Robin Gourmet Burgers is a casual dining restaurant chain that opened in 1969. Thank you for your suggestions.
Right here at the Red Robin Department of Deliciousness is where we created the 5-alarm burger. It's our spiciest burger yet because of some of the ingredients like the pepper jack cheese and jalapenos. Ooh! Who took a bite of the 5-alarm burger?
She did it. I think her name's Debbie.
Nobody makes gourmet burgers like we do, uniquely created to be insanely delicious.
Red Robin. Yum.
The original building dates back to 1916 as a grocery store and was later converted into a restaurant in the 1920s. It was owned by 12 properties and known by various names. Legend has it that in 1940s tavern keeper Samuel Caston, whose barbershop quartet warbled the 1926 hit When the Red Red Robin Comes Bob Bob Bobbin' Along, who added Sam's to the name for good measure. By the late 1960s, the Robin, as it was known, was a bohemian hangout, strictly a tavern offering popcorn and horrible Polish sausages as the only food. The 1,500 square foot restaurant was filled with students. Caston sold the Robin to fledgling Seattle restaurateur Jerry Kingen, triggering a final night legendary rowdy free-for-all. In September of 1969, Kingen expanded the Robin, adding a huge deck, and dropped Sam's from its name. Later, he transformed it into a hamburger emporium and opened namesakes citywide and named it Red Robin, the new business model he called Burgers and Booze. The 1,200 square foot restaurant and tavern was located at the corner of Furman and Eastlake Avenues in Seattle, at the southern end of the University Bridge. The first restaurant, which offered gourmet burgers, found a receptive audience. It was a favored hangout for University of Washington students. Kingen continued to operate the new location as a tavern for a few years, but later added hamburgers to the menu, eventually giving fans 28 different burgers to choose from, and sales increased. The success of the first restaurant led Kingen to expand his concept by developing the format into a chain of restaurants. Kingen, who named his company Red Robin Enterprises, Inc., opened his own units and, importantly, relied on franchising agreements to augment his own expansion. The decision to franchise the Red Robin concept proved to be a significant one in the development of the chain. Through franchising and through one franchisee in particular, the chain drew its strength. Of the numerous franchisees who had allied themselves to the Red Robin concept, none figured more prominently than Mike Snider. Snider became a Red Robin franchisee in 1979 when Kingen's 10-year-old company sold the 29-year-old Snider the rights to open a Red Robin in his hometown. Snider's first restaurant was a success, leading him to open other Red Robin units and develop his own small chain of restaurants, which fell under the control of his company, called Snider Group Company. While Snider cobbled together his fiefdom of Red Robin units, Kingen pushed forward with his own expansion, fueled by the profits gleaned by Red Robin Enterprises. In 1983, Red Robin adopted a mascot named Red. In 1985, Red Robin Restaurants had a chain of 17 Red Robin restaurants, which 2 years earlier had adopted Red Robin International Inc. as its corporate title, a name change reflective of the company's expansion into Canada. It was at this point that Kingen decided he wanted out. He sold the company-owned restaurants to a Japanese-owned restaurant operator named Skylark Company Limited. The large publicly traded company assumed control over the 7 company-owned restaurants and presided over the 15 franchised restaurants. Skylark went to the whip and began expanding aggressively. Under its considerable financial resources to inaugurate an era of unprecedented growth, the Red Robin chain grew quickly, but the growth was errant. Under the guidance of the Japanese owners, the definitively American dining concept began to suffer from the cultural gap. The chain lost its focus, it lost its consistency as a concept, and became wayward strategically, hobbled by ambitious growth that greatly increased the physical stature of the company, but left it rudderless as a niche-oriented casual dining chain. Sales at the company-owned restaurants slumped and profits fell. Efforts were made to replace management, but changes failed to correct the problems. Expansion continued as the situation worsened, characterizing a decades-long period of growth pocked by anemic financial performance. By 1995, a decade of control by Skylark had wrought discernible problems. The company-owned restaurants were generating sales nearly one quarter below the total average by the chain's franchised units. The franchisees were recording better financial results than Skylark, and one franchisee in particular outperformed all, Mike Snider. While the Skylark-owned restaurants floundered, the Snider Group company thrived, controlling 14 profitable restaurants. After years of trying to resolve the difficulties plaguing its company-owned units, Skylark turned to Snider for help. In April of 1996, the company appointed Snider as president and chief operating officer of the beleaguered chain, hoping the successful franchisee could turn around the corporate-owned restaurants. Snider made an immediate impression. Snider wasted little time before he applied the management techniques he used at the Snider Group company to the whole of Red Robin. He paid close attention to costs and efficiency, succeeding in improving the profitability of the store by store. Snider rallied the workforce, instilling a spirit of achievement and offering financial incentives for performance. Store managers, for example, were given bonuses for reaching sales objectives. A new upper-level management team was recruited and the restaurant's menu was expanded. As part of the program to streamline the operations of the restaurants, 10 of the units were deemed underperformers and closed. The Red Robin chain improved its performance, taking on the luster exuded formerly only by certain franchised units. Profit margins swelled to 19.2%. Encouraged by the achievements of the late 1990s, Red Robin made preparations for more aggressive growth during the first years of the new century. As part of the commitment towards growth, the company made several structural changes to better position itself for expansion. In 2000, the company completed a recapitalization and acquired the 14-unit Snider Group company, which gave Snider a significant equity interest in Red Robin. Also, a private equity firm known as Quad C invested $25 million in Red Robin, becoming the company's largest stockholder. Following these two transactions, the company implemented a system-wide reorganization, forming in January of 2001 Red Robin Gourmet Burgers, Inc., to facilitate the reorganization. In August of 2001, the reorganization was completed, a process that entailed all of the outstanding capital stock being ceded to Red Robin Gourmet Burgers, Inc. Red Robin Gourmet Burgers, Inc. became the company's new corporate title, although its business was operated primarily through Red Robin International, Inc. In April of 2002, the company filed a registration statement with the SEC for its IPO stock. Management hoped to raise $60 million in the offering, the proceeds from which were earmarked for expansion and debt reduction. With fewer than 200 restaurants in the months leading up to the IPO, the company would need all the capital it could secure, considering that in 2001, it cost $1.7 million to build a new Red Robin unit. In July of 2002, Red Robin made its public debut. As Red Robin entered its first decade as a publicly traded concern, the company was concentrating on expanding into the Southwest, Midwest, and East Coast. In July of 2002, the company opened 2 new restaurants, one in Fenton, Missouri, and another in Toledo, Ohio, increasing its presence in the Midwest to 27 restaurants. It would soon expand into the Southwest by opening restaurants in Arizona. Expansion continued in 2003, building on the 193 units in operation in January of 2003. During the first 2 months of the year, the company opened 2 new restaurants in Nebraska, expanding on into Texas and Maryland as well. The original Red Robin closed on March 21, 2010 due to prohibitive maintenance costs for the old building. It was demolished on August 28, 2014 to make way for a 3-story residential building named the Robin's Nest. By 2015, the company had 538 restaurants with a revenue of $1.25 billion. To expand their reach, Red Robin added a simplified line of restaurants called Red Robin's Burger Works, featuring quick service and with locations in Washington State, Washington, D.C., Illinois, Ohio, and Colorado. These restaurants, which launched in 2011, would eventually be closed in 2016. 3 were rebranded as a Red Robin Express to differentiate them from the full-service locations. On December 2, 2018, Michael Snider passed away. In 2021, Red Robin's closed its location in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and finished pulling all of its locations out of the Boston area. Today, there are 513 Red Robin restaurants in the U.S., located in 44 states and territories, and in 449 cities. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks.